Oh, oh,
Oh, yeah, sorry. The dancing is just for show. I can't actually hear the music. Hello?
oh,
Are you
oh,
you just having a snack there before we go live?
mm-hmm. Oh,
You know, you really should finish one before you start another. That's just good eating etiquette, honestly.
okay. Anyway, maybe I should just open it, right? Yeah. Hold on. To prove I can, I am an actual human being. Ah, Tango. Does not sponsor this podcast. Hi, welcome. This is the Immaterial Gamers Livecast. This is the voice of
Yeah,
Ryan,
allegedly.
who's... Yeah, well, allegedly. No, wait, hold on. It's this way. There we go. Ah, Bisto. Also not a sponsor of this podcast. Hi, Duncan. How's it going, mate?
I'm also not sponsored, and I'm all right.
Ah, there dues. Well, that was certainly a thing. Right, there we go. That's the Immaterial Gamers podcast for the week. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, that's about as much gaming news as I've got to go off of. I mean, I guess
Uh,
I could still do a bit. You
oh,
know.
we've got a bit to talk about. Since you're here and Terry is away, he gets away with it. He gets away with a feature that you will be part of this week.
Oh dear, that sounds
Yeah.
like something.
Yeah, without Googling away, prepared. Remember my background at the moment when. Oh, hello. A hand. You can stay.
That
Oh,
monster seems to be eating your arm. I don't know if you're aware of that.
ah. Oh, what monster? Wait. Uh, anyway.
Da-da-dun.
Oh god, don't you just love to mess with stuff? Why am I so low on the screen? Yeah.
I don't know the way you've got the cameras centered. It's just it's
Oh,
I,
autofocus. Don't be an arse.
I've gotta have my thing like I have to like center my chin like 2/3 of the way up my image to center it on the layout.
Eh, mostly better. There we go. I actually kind of look like I exist. So anyway, yeah, you will be taking part later on without any the use of the Google machine. You'll be taking on this week's This Year in Gaming challenge,
Oh God.
and that
I don't
behind me.
I don't even know that much about this decade in gaming.
It's all right. It's all right. You only have to guess a year. It's no, it'll be easy enough. Right. Well, let's get this out of the way then. You had something you had the ability to talk about.
You know, I've been in this rut lately where I just don't feel, just haven't really been into games lately. It just
Hmm.
hasn't nothing really new grabbing me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, I decided to turn my old tortured soul back onto my favorite um self-flaying device. I could come up with a more poetic word for that, but I just don't have I
Sell
just don't
your
have it in me.
self-flame device.
I've been I turned my attention back to trying to do a Nuzlocke in Pokemon.
Oh yes. Which
Uh,
which one of you went for this time?
very still Ruby Sapphire. This time I've changed to Ruby instead of Sapphire.
Ah, right. Okay.
Um, and it's still all the exact same fake made up Nuzlocke rules that I invented for myself for the last one, which
Oh
is
yeah.
to say, um,
You
trainer
mean the
battles only.
yeah? Oh, you mean the
No
you mean the
rematches.
damn near the damn near impossible one?
I've conceded to myself to allow for the non-set battle form, which is gives me the opportunity to change Pokemon in between
Hmm.
my opponent's deaths. Still can't use items in battle, so still really just scraping by there.
Oh, just as you do.
Today I managed to get all the way to Flannery before I was gonna say crashed and burned, and then I realized how silly that sounded because, puns.
Uh,
Uh,
before you saw the light. No, wait, that doesn't help. Um, before
or got
you
burned.
fainted.
There you go. But yeah, fourth gym, dead, dead and buried. That Torkoal is an absolute monster. I
Mm.
hate it. I hate it so much. Um, I wanna know I wanna know what Torkoal's deal is.
Yeah,
That's
find
definitely how
out
you
what its
spell it. I
what its
wanna,
deal is.
because I know the main reason I have a hard time with this is because I always go Mudkip, and Mudkip is super effective against Torkoal, but it uses physical damage, and yeah, that's what I thought. Torkoal has monstrous physical defense. I feel like the only way I'm going to get through that damn thing is if I have some kind of special attacker
Mm.
that's good against him, which that's the problem because there are no special attackers that are strong out of the starters, so you have to catch one. So it's like you just kind of gotta, I don't know, get a tentacle maybe. I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. Wingull or tentacle be the most reliable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I died. It failed. It sucked.
Oh.
And yeah, that's just kind of the story of that. Because I can't just do a normal Nuzlocke now that I've set myself up for that. Like anything less than victory just feels like admission of defeat.
Mm.
So one day I'm either gonna give up completely or I'll beat it. I know
Beat
I can get
it.
further than I know I can get further than I have because I've beaten all 8 gyms, gotten all the way to Victory Road on one attempt, and there's proof of it. We have records. I cannot believe I did 16 fucking streams of that when I was going on that raid. I was like looking back through the playlist, and I saw
Yeah.
16 episodes, and I'm like, what? When the hell did I have time for 16 2-hour streams to
I've,
fail miserably at this? This
yes.
Nuzlocke?
Yeah, so
Oh,
that is the playlist that's on the YouTube channel. Just what's it just called? Just the Great Nuzlocke.
yeah, you eventually around episode 3 or 4, you started naming it the Great Pokemon Sapphire and Nuzlocke or something like that.
Yeah. Is it not on the list of playlists? How dare you? Show me all of them. Show me all my playlists. Our playlists. Yeah, there we go. The Great Pokemon Sapphire Nuzlocke run.
Yep.
Just there, just above, just below the Extraction reaction, and just above the Arcane breakdown. Which
Yeah,
then
I've
we certainly
sorry.
did have a breakdown.
Yeah, man, Arcane. That's gonna maybe happen this year. I think possibly.
I think the CEO of Riot has said he's watched one of the episodes and has stated it's great, you guys, but don't expect it this year.
Uh,
So
well, never mind then.
don't worry, the second breakdown will happen next year.
Yeah,
Also, we'll look at the episodes.
yeah, yeah. There's also that. Oh God,
um, we've got some improvements on
I've
how
such
we can run it, so it'll be fine.
I I have I have so many. I just Arcade is one of those it's one of those things. It's my personal psychological nemesis because my ultimate frenemy because I love thinking about it, but I hate talking about it because I like thinking about things of it that are good and I hate thinking about the things about it that I don't like and trying to figure out the delineation between what is stuff that is good and can safely be said to be good,
Mm.
stuff that I dislike that on a completely personal level, and right somewhere in the middle there's some kind of
This,
narrow
this weird Venn diagram. It's just
there's this narrow like border of things that I dislike because I genuinely think that they are bad. And I keep trying to pin down exactly what that is, where it is, and how to describe it. And I've been thinking about this for 2 full years now, and I just it eludes me.
so what you're saying is that Arcane is the demilitarized zone of. of
Yeah, I'm pretty
opinion.
sure I'm pretty sure I'm North Korea in this situation. I'm on the losing side. I'm the crazy guy who's talking about nuking all other nations on Earth because I'm just so much better than everyone else. Meanwhile, everyone else is just kind of being like, "Yeah, dude, we're just chill. We've got esports, you know, big tech companies,
We
um,
have an
Hyundai.
esports arena that's you know, a normal place that people can just go and watch stuff.
You know, everything's chill. I don't know. I don't know what you're so upset about." And I'm just like, ah. I'm literally God in human flesh. Worship me.
Now, Duncan,
I don't
I do
actually
have to
I don't
understand
actually
on
think that.
this. Did you ever go to a golf course and get 18 holes in one?
Um, I'm sorry, that's a hell of a segue. What the fuck are you on about,
No,
crazy
no,
man?
no. That's something that I've heard recently. Something had come up. I don't know. I think it was I was listening
Oh,
to the
oh,
radio, and it was something of the
oh, like
Kim
in North
family
Korea.
in North Korea, um, putting out a press release that stated that I think it was Kim Jong Il went to a golf course in Pyongyang and scored 18 holes in one.
Now, is that 18 hole, like 18 hole in ones, or is that 18 holes with a single swing of the club?
I mean,
Is just the ball just like
knowing their property.
levitated, just dunked in one hole, just flew off several hundred yards to the next hole and dunked it there.
I was about
That
to say
ball
knowing.
went on a hell of a journey.
Yeah, I was about to say knowing that country's news press releases, both.
See, it's so see that sort of thing is so bizarre to me because it's like I can understand like hyping up your guy your man of like like this like I literally can understand like the idea of someone believing that I don't know a preacher or some sort of like religious leader is like channeling God and has actually like manifested some portion of God's abilities
Mm,
you know through his fleshy prison he calls a body. Yeah, I can believe someone in believing that and being in grandiose lies we'll call them about like I don't know like curing the blind and the crippled and things like things that are like so amazing that if you believed them you could not possibly fault this person for being like a deity in human flesh, but so also easy to falsify that it's like like okay, like this is an actual like plot that
mm,
someone could create and potentially profit from. But it's just like weird mundane shit that where there's no reason to even not even so much of a lie about it. Like if there was a political reason for Kim Jong Il or any of the Kim
mm,
family
yeah.
to go out golfing and that was somehow a big enough deal that they felt like they needed to cover it, then of course they would say that he got all hole in ones. But like, why did you even report that? Was it even was it just such a slow day in the news cycle that like the only thing worth lying about that particular day was the how the leader of North Korea performed at his at his private golf course?
I mean,
It's
probably
so weird to me.
it is just it is just mental. It's just funny. But at least you know what at least the crazy news reporting and stuff does. You know, it helps us to get to a segue
Is this a
because
segue?
it is because I've played a game where you're also having to deal with a ruthless dictator.
Oh
Uh,
dear.
that game being Far Cry 6.
Oh my god. There's a lot of ruthless dictators in that series, I hear. Isn't this like a running thing?
So let's think. That's hold on. Far Cry 1 were pirates or like military spec ops crazies. Number 2 was a dictator in unspecified Africa. Number
Okay,
3 were
there, yeah.
pirates. Number 4 was a
Pirates again.
dictator in unspecified Asia.
Okay,
Number
so two
5
dictators.
Number 5 was a cultist in rural America.
So
Uh,
aspiring dictator.
yeah, and
Not
then
quite there. Doesn't have to quite to the cloud.
number 6, dictator in like not Cuba.
So
Because
it's
I think
so it's every other one. Every even numbered Far Cry is a
yeah,
dictator.
yeah, they
The
go
rest are just
between
crazy
dictators
people.
and pirates. So it's like,
They alternate between dictators and crazy people.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
I mean,
because
crazy. Not that dictators aren't crazy. I'm just saying like just regular crazy people.
hmm hmm So yeah, so the enemy for Far Cry 6 is a charming man called Anton Castillo, played by
Isn't that
played by
isn't that Ghost Fring?
yes, yeah, it is
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito, who I have also just watched in The Mandalorian season 3 as Moff Gideon. Because it seems that Giancarlo is typecast to play irredeemable villain. It's just
Indeed.
it's just how that is, especially because of how they like.
Casual bad guy.
Terry's asking why there are eyeballs in the background. Well, don't worry about it.
It's mainly Ryan's fault mostly.
Yeah, oh, of course, always.
In fact, it's completely his fault. Like,
Yeah,
it literally cannot be blamed for this at all.
yeah,
I just showed up.
100%, always. We should know how this works. Ryan does crazy thing, you know. Ryan ropes other people into crazy thing, you know. Just how it goes. But yeah. So
Some
playing
of the
it,
greatest activities of all time have consisted of exactly that.
yeah, yeah. It's just how that works. So Far Cry 6 then. Yeah, I'm playing through it at the moment. I've not played much of the story because it seems, unfortunately, at this point, this is unfortunate for the main story of Far Cry 6. The DLC that came in the like 80% off premium edition. Yeah, don't you just spread the word. Everyone spread the word. Um, that's us being 34 followers away from 100 and 150, but that's not a target to play our current idea of 12 hours X idiots, which I'll discuss a little bit later on. But yeah, the main story of Far Cry 6 hasn't done much for me at the moment. Hello. Just double checking. We are still connected, aren't we? I'd hope so.
Chat GPT. Can Chat GPT
Don't
do
you
that?
dare! Don't you dare!
How powerful is this device?
Leave the AI out of it. Do not bring the AI anywhere near us, or I will slay them. Yeah, you would. You would.
Why settle for 34? Go big or go home. Make it like 340, 3,400.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the end of this day, though, what's the point if it still ends up coming back round to the same 5 people watching? Terry, no, no, Terry, you do that, I know where you live. Once I ask Duncan and Stefan, I know the general
You're gonna.
idea of
I
Canada.
could lead you to the town. I could lead you to. I could point it to. I could point to it on a map. You're gonna
Ah,
have to figure it out from there. I don't actually know the street address.
I'm
I
so,
actually I have the means to find that out. Grandma's will is laying around here somewhere. That should have it on her. Yeah, there
yeah,
you go. Sorted.
yeah, we'll find him.
We'll go get Terry.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. But yeah. So I haven't really been playing the main game because I've been playing the DLC, which allows you to go in. It's called Inside the Mind, and allows you to do these weird sort of roguelike minigame runs where you play as the villains from 3, 4, and 5. Sort of providing
Okay.
an internal or like a sort of an internal change of how the villain works. For example, the first one, which is Far Cry 3, you play as Vaz, who's the big lead pirate in Far Cry 3. The one behind the quote. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? And goes and monologues about how insanity works. Um,
Like an insane person.
yeah, but it had like this weird sort of roguelike idea: is that you the aim, you only had one mission in the game, and that was to find 3 pieces of a sword, bring the sword to the middle of the game, and then do a horde mode and escape. If you die, you have to start from the beginning of that mission again, but you have the old roguelike elements of you can buy permanent traits and upgrades that make your next run better. All that business, the usual.
Wow.
But the thing that was a little bit different on this is that you can, when you do beat the Horde mode, you can either leave, or you can risk it and get a better score by doing another wave of Horde mode. And you learn a little bit more about the characters as well, to be honest, and why they were so evil. But the main story, you play as your custom insert character. You play as Danny. That Danny can be male or female.
DeVito?
Hmm?
DeVito?
No, not DeVito. Though someone somewhere has probably modded it.
Suicide is badass.
Egg.
Trash man. Egg.
Could I offer you an egg in this trying time?
Just fucking.
He's not even just normal Danny DeVito. He's just Danny DeVito as he is in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Well, it's just like. Well, I mean, I feel like that's like the most like mainstream version of Danny DeVito at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like I just Danny DeVito, but it's just a Danny DeVito soundboard. Like it's just all of his most famous quotes, and that's the only means by which he can communicate.
Yeah. So even as the other characters are explaining, like, are you military? Egg. What? Were you a conscript or were you a volunteer?
A trash man. Conscript. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what division were you in? Explosives, infiltration, stuff like this. Yeah. So oh god, no, Danny. Yeah, but yeah, it's nice to actually have, because I enjoyed Far Cry 5. Even leading up to the fact that it ends up even the good ending of the game is a bad ending. I mean, to be honest, how can you have a good ending of defeating? Oh, how can you have the good ending be? Sorry, how can you have defeating the bad guy?
I believe.
Yeah, there we go. How can you have defeating the bad guy, but him not dying, him kidnapping you, and putting you in a bunker as nukes fly around America, as being a good ending? It's like you won, but you lost. Yeah, I mean, look, spoilers for Far Cry 5 for a game that's been out for many years. The whole thing about him being a big evangelistic cultist is that he's trying to prep people for the end of the world. And the fact that it turns out to be true is, is sort of the interesting thing on that. Currently, for what it looks like for Anton Castillo, he's just a power-hungry bastard whose son, decides he wants to leave, and you just get caught up in all that shit. But you know what? It's fun. You sneak around. You be a guerrilla.
I was gonna say it's like you're a gorilla. Okay.
Yeah, you become a gorilla. Suddenly you start playing what's it called? Ape Out. You just like break out of everywhere and you just go mad as a giant gorilla. But no.
Yeah.
You sneak around. You mark and target dudes. You have a okay, all right, fair enough. You do have this. You have what they used to have in Far Cry 5 were guns for hire and like animals for hire, like friend characters who would support you while playing the game. In this, you have amigos, animal companions.
Amigo.
And the first animal companion you get is a crocodile.
Oh
called Guapo.
Guapo.
Yeah, in the very first mission, you meet a guy who's like an ex-spy, and he has this sat at the bar with him. And he just asks your character, "Can you whistle?" You proceed to whistle, and the crocodile just attacks an enemy soldier that's just sneaking up the bar, and provides you a gift of said soldier's left foot.
Oh,
so
that was his favorite foot.
Well, doesn't matter. I mean, the rest of him was eaten. Though it is a bit funny that the crocodile wears a t-shirt and has a gold tooth. Don't read anything into it. It's Far Cry. It's absolutely grounded in reality and is not batshit crazy at any point. Just so we go. But yeah, maybe I'll play more of it, and maybe I'll talk about it next time. I've also been playing through the Mage Seeker, which you should be watching the streams of that. Fun game, enjoyable. You get to walk around as Silas from League of Legends fame, and you actually get the story that he isn't a massive irredeemable arsehole like he's shown in his League of Legends lore. Oh, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he always. I mean, it was kind of weird. Like I just look at like his splash art or whatever, and I think to myself like, this guy looks like he wants to like eat my neck, like specifically my neck, like not any other part of me, like literally just like chew a hole through my
Just
neck,
the neck
and leave the head and body in separate places.
turn you
And then
into
it's just
Rayman.
and then I'm just kind of like casually like glancing over at your stream and reading his dialogue. I was like, he seems like a surprisingly reasonable chap given his everything.
And sort of the Mage Seeker, and this is what the Riot Forge initiative is, and the League of Legends story games, which the idea behind them is their, single player experiences that expand on the lore of League of Legends that the game doesn't want to really expand on, because apparently putting lore into a game doesn't mean shit when all you're doing are playing 5-on-5 dollhouse League of Legends, basically. The lore doesn't matter in a 5-on-5 who would win in a fight between these 5 characters and these 5 characters, People who do want lore outside of it have to get it from these other games. So yeah, no, I do like this whole idea of, Silas being found out as a mage early on in his childhood and being used by Demacia, who aren't as white as the Petricite cities make them look to be. They are quite, or at least it's made to push towards the idea that there's a certain sect in Demacia that are irredeemably evil. I.e., the Mage Seekers. Because it makes it look like people like Garen. Unfortunately, it makes people like Garen and Jarvan to be. The story makes it out to them that they seem to be quite dumb. Not knowing the machinations that's been going around in their generations. I mean, to be fair, Garen on the idea not realizing that his own sister was a mage.
Who's his sister?
Lux.
Oh, they're related. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Garen and
New
Lux.
information.
Garen and Lux are Crown Guard.
I'm assuming they took after different parents.
Well, yeah.
Just to look at them. I mean,
yeah.
One of them is like this. One of them is a brown-haired refrigerator of a man, and the other is, Lux. Just like.
I just love that one is a brown-haired refrigerator of a man. The other is Lux.
She's got the physique of an Alakazam.
Oh man, but yeah. I can understand on that. But yeah, I like it. I just like the gameplay. It's incorrectly tagged on Steam as a roguelike. It is not.
So it is. That's what that looks like, by the
way. Look, it's Lux.
Yeah. See? Indistinguishable.
Indistinguishable.
The pixel art does kind of throw it off a little bit. It's a little hard to tell.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was hilarious that we went and played some League of Legends, and we got our Mage Seeker mission completed, and it was nice to earn a award and 6 broken images.
Yay! I get to be Garen now. I get to be dumbass Lux bro.
Yeah, and I get to be Morgana, who was a pretty good boss fight, to be honest, in the fact that I like what Digital Sun did in regards to, as someone who's played League of Legends and used to main Morgana, just the fact that they made a point of knowing what all her skills did, but put it in a batshit crazy way to take into the fact that it was an action RPG. They didn't just have to do one pool of toxic shit, and she didn't have to do one dark binding. They took the idea that she was actually good enough that if you tried to steal her powers as Silas, she would just black shield it and just go, "Nah, don't be stupid." So yeah, really enjoying it. Looks like I'll be getting to the point where we'll be finishing off in the next couple of sessions. So keep an eye on the Twitch for that, and then I'll be away to go. Right, should we quickly do some news? Mayhaps. Let's do it. Let's have a look, and let's have a look at these pieces of news and see which one sounds interesting. Let's have a look. How about we talk about Gary Bowser? Let's talk about him.
Gary Bowser.
Gary
right,
Bowser,
like the Nintendo guy, right?
No, that's not.
How many goddamn Bowsers are there?
Well, one owns Nintendo, and the other was a criminal. And it turns out they are different. There was not Gary.
One of
Bowser.
them's in Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo. Doug Bowser. Doug Bowser is the CEO of Nintendo of America.
That sounds like the kind of thing you came up with a name for a guy named Bowser, and you realize that mononyms don't make sense. So you just decided that he had to have a full name, and the very first thing that came to your mind is Doug Bowser.
Doug. Yeah, Doug. So about 18 months ago, Gary Bowser. If Doug Bowser got jailed, that would be weird.
Oh my god! It's another. It's how is every person named Bowser associated with Nintendo?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this particular one, this Gary Bowser, he was involved in the hacking group Team Executor. No. Executor. Yeah, Executor.
Executor. That's a different.
No, not Executor. Anyway, he was involved in a hacking group in regards to sort of modding consoles, to allow them to chipping consoles. Let's go with that. And he got caught at the public face of this hacking group. He got caught and sentenced to 40 months in jail for piracy.
So he'll be the villain of Far Cry 7 then. Because we're back to pirates now.
Yeah, we are actually. Yeah, cyber pirates. Yeah, we've not had that yet. I don't mean cyber pirate. Actually, no, we have. Far Cry Blood Dragon. Fuck. Cyber pirates. I meant in the sort of the idea of Die Hard 4, had cyber terrorists as opposed to, walking in guns blazing terrorists. But he was also fined $15 million. It's
a lot of money.
It was. But he's now out of prison. But he still owns Nintendo $10 million. To the point that he will be paying Nintendo back for the rest of his working life. Because Nintendo have requested 25 to 30% of his gross monthly income going forward.
Yeah, so the lesson learned here is never, ever fucking get arrested in Japan. Because they have about a 99% fucking guilty rating in their criminal system, and they do not fuck around when it comes to intellectual property.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, in this one, he was arrested and sentenced in the US. He's from Canada, so he's your problem now.
You say. Oh, oops, that's not.
Yeah, he's your problem now. But it's the fact that there were people just going on. It's like, this guy has been ruined. This guy's been ruined. His life's ruined by he's never going to make that money. He's going to be in debt to them for the rest of their life. Blah blah blah. It's like, well, yeah,
Maybe don't be a pirate,
yeah.
you know?
Don't be a pirate. The reason partly that you got caught on this is it wasn't just enough that they chipped consoles. They also bricked if you didn't pay their subscription fee to have the chip in their system. So it was ransomware. So of course no one's gonna take the thing on that. But you're right. You're right on that. Don't fuck up. You know, if you were just a normal pirate, if you were just one of those that's just like Nintendo are getting rid of their back catalogs of games and you need to find ways to download them because you're never going to be able to find them ever again. Um, maybe it might be morally bad, but that's just how that works. Nintendo, leave us alone. Um, but yeah, do crimes, get jail. It's that. Do crime, get consequences. So, Bowser, you might need to move your taxes to another castle. Anyway, what's this about Markiplier making a feature film adaptation of a $6 indie film or indie game?
Oh dear. What is that? I don't even know what you just said, but it's
Uh,
definitely interesting.
well, there is a trend of YouTubers or like these horror games and franchises and stuff becoming looking like they're being made into films. We've got the Five Nights at Freddy's thing happening
Mm-hmm.
some point. Um, there's a YouTube series based off the creepypasta of The Back Rooms that is being made into a feature film, being directed by the student filmmaker who has made the YouTube series. And now we've got Markiplier looking to direct a film regarding, and I can't believe this is according to the PC Gamer article. Markiplier is making a feature film adaptation of a $6 indie horror indie game where you pilot a windowless submarine under an ocean of blood.
Oh, Iron Law. Oh, that's oh, yeah. I know what that is. I know that one.
Oh, you know Island, because I don't.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's basically just like a source type. I think they made it in source.
Oh yeah,
It's sort of like it kind of looks like like graphically, it kind of looks like a Half-Life mod.
yeah. I'm just looking at
And
the images now.
yeah, and basically the idea is that it's like you're just stuck in a room that's a submarine,
Hmm.
and you're trying to navigate to certain like key points of interest based purely on like like things you can't see. Like you're physically navigating a submarine, but you can't see outside of it at all.
So
Um,
it does exploit that fear of the unknown bit then.
yeah, and the only time you get to see anything is whenever you get to a point of interest. You can take a picture of what's like directly in front of you or whatever.
Right.
And
Okay.
yeah, that's where I should probably put this back up now that I'm not fucking around with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Um, just yeah, I'll just keep it down here and be
Mm.
like just ashens it up, just sort of like do gestures and stuff, speak through my hands a lot, maybe do some sign language,
Just
just
as you do.
a little bit of uh but
I love.
anyway,
I love. By the way, I'm just as a short aside here. I'm just loving the fact that I'm looking at this on Steam and it's saying similar to games you've played, Antichamber. The puzzle game where you have to break the rules of puzzle games in order to progress. This is no. This is nothing like Iron Lung.
but yeah, obviously the creepy element comes from, a combination of claustrophobia, the fear of the unknown, and the occasional, image of something incredibly not pleasant looking outside through photographs,
Mm,
still images. So it's like that there's like things out there like alive and moving around, but like you can only capture still images of it.
mm.
And it's the very very end of it is you know, that you get monstered.
Ah,
Um, it's interesting. It's an interesting video. One of it. I don't know how popular it is relative to his other videos, but I feel like it's probably one of the more um, prominently known videos featuring that game.
Mm.
Just because anything that he features is prominently known because he's got like 30 million subscribers or whatever.
Yeah, didn't he do like some sort of weird ARG a while back as
I
well?
can
Or was
neither
that? Or was
confirm
that?
or
No,
deny. I
no. I
do
think that
not
might be
keep up.
Jacksepticeye. That might be
Cannot confirm or deny. I do not keep up with Markiplier on the regular.
fair enough. So yeah, expect that to be coming out soon. Apparently.
Sure, why not? Seems neat.
I don't know what more. I don't wonder what more there was to be said about that. It's like, oh, Markiplier doing that, and blah blah blah. There was another news story. Actually, maybe it's interesting in how this is going to work. So you know the Red Cross, right? You know, medical organization, uh, charity, humanitarian aid group, the Red Cross.
Sure,
Uh, um, they've
heard of
sent a
them.
challenge to video gamers.
We
As
are hypothetically video gamers.
yeah, so the International Committee of the Red Cross, according to NME, has announced a Play by the Rules initiative, which will task fans of first-person shooter games with respecting real-world rules of war. Which will be sort of interesting on how this could actually work. But yeah, so some actual, trying to challenge players to use, to play by, Geneva Convention and rules of engagement and other things that would happen in real world war situations. Let's see, what
Well,
have we got on?
there are definitely entire video games that you definitely cannot play under these rules.
Yeah, according to this, let's just say people have been doing it in Arma 3, which is something that can be done. I love that it says in Fortnite. Fuck off. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Did that sound like I don't like Fortnite by any chance? Oh yeah,
You know, unfortunately,
putting a key part
unfortunately,
of narrative for the last Star Wars film
sadly,
as a fucking event in their game. Sorry.
sadly, Fortnite is probably one of the 9 or 10 games that they're popular enough that
Mm,
the Red Cross is, you know, aware of their presence.
yeah, that's true. So what's it? So what are the rules
Also,
here?
it says while playing FPS games. Fortnite's third person, but okay.
Oh yeah, so it is.
What
Yeah.
about
So
that?
so what are the rules that we got here? No thirsting. When an enemy is down and can't respond, you can't keep shooting at them. Rule of war: prisoners of war must be protected from violence, intimidation, and ill treatment. No
Law-abiding.
targeting.
Hold on. Law-abiding players will need to avoid shooting at enemies who are down and can't respond. Start targeting non-violent NPCs and civilian buildings.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I seem to recall a certain um ongoing conflict in which the targeting
Ah.
of non-violent NPCs and civilian buildings is
Uh,
a
is it
regular ongoing
is
issue.
is it something like a current conflict at the moment that's like happening in Europe at the moment?
It's
Also,
between the
also,
countries of a country that rhymes with Prussia and something that it's someone's Ukraine. We're not really sure who's Ukraine.
yeah. Uh,
It
Mike
seems
Rain.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not accusing an entire government of committing war crimes like daily. That would be weird. That would be a weird thing for me to do on a
Yeah.
gaming podcast.
I'd be
I don't
interested
know,
in that.
just random brainwave. Just kind of slipped out there.
I'd be sort of interested in how they managed to do this. Rule 4: use medkits on everyone. If you have
Yeah,
an
rule
unused
four.
medkit that works on others, then you must give it to those who need it, be they friendly or enemy. Rule of war: the sick and wounded must be cared for on both sides. Huh. So, it's an interesting challenge, and if people can do it and spread awareness, go for it. Why not?
I'm, j- I'm also just like, is there like is there anything for this? Like it was just like, yeah, just do it for funsies, or like I'm just curious if there's like an angle for this, or if they just said, please stop shooting civilians
Yeah.
in video games because it makes us feel sad.
So,
I just don't know what like the point is.
mm. So mine was just saying, yeah, if it was all agreed to everyone in the lobby, it would actually be quite interesting. It was just like, right, so guys, we're going to play by the Geneva Convention rules. Just that simple. So
Just
that would mean if you downed someone in one of those games, you'd have to just like step back and just go,
yep, let them bleed.
or just like say, right, whatever team, your medic, bring him over, go back, and we'll fight again. This actually just led to one of those, like how
Well,
they do
I don't think
relate.
it's like I don't think the Geneva Convention specify that if you shoot a person and fail to kill them by shooting them while they are currently standing in an active threat, that you
Hmm,
are like required to allow their medics to pick them up. I'm pretty sure
I-
you're allowed to just let them die.
just leave them.
I think that's okay, which is weird because in a way that's almost more cruel. It's just like you can't like you're not allowed to finish them off. You have to it's like you have and you definitely can't shoot the medic. That's big no.
Hmm.
You just have to sit there and like let them die.
Hold on, what have I done to the screen? Back to grid. There we go.
Although that does bring up the question is like because I know shooting like doctors and medics is also a big no in war. So
Yeah.
it's like if the only person that went out to go help the guy that's down is the medic, like is he fine? Like is that chill?
Hmm.
You know, like I don't know. If the medic is a carrying a sidearm, like are they fair game? If they
Yeah.
just walk out, like what if they just like drop everything, Kevlar and everything? All they've got is just like I've just got like, and just so they don't like accidentally like misunderstand the rule, they've got like a big sign that's just like a big red cross. It's
Hmm.
just like it's like I've just got a sign and my med kit. That's all I've got. I'm just here to save my guy. No shooting.
Mhm. I know what you
Rules
mean.
of war are interesting. They're very interesting.
Yeah.
They can be
So,
kind of weird sometimes.
so it's led to, this article, by the way, just led to an aside. Just thinking, why did we not pick this up in February? Also by the NME, it was just a news story that said Among Us broke the Geneva Convention. So
I'm sorry, what?
so this had just come up as a tweet by the Among Us team. It just said, "Fun fact: after the game got big in 2020, we had to change the color of the medbay cross because apparently we violated the Geneva Conventions Act by making it red."
Oh, rip.
That's why they then had to change it to green.
The green cross.
Yeah,
Only aliens can be helped by this med bay with green blood.
yeah, it's just
Humans,
crazy.
nope, you're screwed. That's why you can't heal anybody. That's why you can't
Yeah,
bring anybody back to life after they've died in Among Us because it's aliens only. It's green.
yeah, yeah. That's how it is. All right, we've delayed it long enough. It's time for Duncan to play Name the Year in Gaming.
In other words, it's time for Duncan to be summarily executed in this trivia show.
Time to just have a random guess is basically how it works. So, yeah, Terry's played this a
See,
couple of times.
it's just see this is this is my big problem with trivia. It's just like you got it or you don't. You know,
Yeah,
like I'm not enough of a video game historian that I can like suss this out and be like, oh, according to the pixels here, can you zoom and enhance? Oh my god,
there'll,
that
there'll
architecture
be
was only ever used between the years of 1995 and 1998.
to be fair on this, Duncan. You're just going to get the same as what Terry got, and he guessed it. He guessed it right last week. It's all I'm doing
If
is
you look
I'm
at the
looking.
watermark here, this is that was used only by this company for this part of the year. Uh, you know,
No, Duncan, it's gonna be simple. So it's gonna be simple. Just be calm. Be calm. Breathe. Breathe. All I'm going to do is I'm looking at a Wikipedia article that is a year in video games. There you go. Calm down with the doggos. There you go. That'll do. All I'm going to do is I found a Wikipedia article that is a specific year in video games. I'm going to give you a couple of notable releases of
right?
games that came out in that year. maybe a bit of business information, a significant event that happened during that year, and after each one of those sections, you'll just be able to guess what year it is, and I will take your final answer, and then we'll have a little bit of a laugh
So
and
so
just see how close
you're
you
gonna
are.
describe a bunch of video game related stuff that happened in a year, and I have to guess which year that was.
Correct.
Okay, I might, who knows? That might be okay. I might be able to do this.
Yeah. So what do you want? What do you want to
Looking at
find out
dates.
here? Do you want because this particular year was a big year for arcade games. We'll go. So is there any sort of do you want to look at what the highest grossing arcade game
is there like
worldwide
a
was?
is there like some kind of like score system where like the fewer hints I take, the better my score is, or is it just like
Yeah, well, I mean,
just
if you really want, so
run down
you'll
the
like
list?
get maximum points if you get the year if you choose the year the year from the first options. You'll get two, so you'll get 3 points. You'll get 2 points if you get the year right after I tell you what significant events happened, and then you'll get 1 point after I tell you, notable games that came out during that year.
Okay, so
And just as a reminder as well, that image in the back is a clue to the year in video games.
okay.
So let's
Well,
look at.
my bad. I mean, yeah, I'm feeling very 90s with that particular.
Okay,
Something
well,
about the art style tells me it's like this is a little bit more advanced than like but again, if it was an arcade game though, arcade games were a lot more robust than what was
yeah,
available on home offer back in
that's
those
very
days.
true. So I mean, I'll give you.
A late 80s arcade game is very hard to distinguish from like a mid 90s console game
Mhm,
visually.
mhm. So so I'll give you a couple of arcade games that came out or came out during this year or were highest grossing during this year. Worldwide, the highest grossing arcade game was Outrun by Sega, but
Never heard of it.
it's a
No idea what that is.
it's a racing game. Ferrari cars, woman in the passenger seat. You flip your car all over the place, and she'd berate you for speeding. Other games that came out were Afterburner, 1943, The Battle of Midway, and R-Type, which is what this image is. This is one of the bosses from R-Type. It's like a shoot 'em up game made by IREM and had a big franchise through there.
So
Also,
Sega existed. That
that was
was that's a clue in and
that
of
is a clue. Yeah,
itself.
Sega as a company existed during this year. They weren't just
Though to
a
be fair, technically Sega has existed since like the 40s.
yeah. Okay,
They were
if
not into the video game business at the time.
yeah, I should specifically say this point then. Sega during this year were in more than just the video game publishing sphere.
Hmm.
So
I definitely think I was right about the 90s though. I feel like I'm in the right ballpark there.
okay.
Question is, what is Sega doing in the 90s other than making Sonic games? As that was definitely a big thing that they were doing at the time.
Oh dear. I'll give you this. Let's do you want to have a hazard a guess of a year at the moment? I mean, you
I
can
don't
do.
know.
You can always change it.
Am I ineligible for future guessing if I'm wrong? Like
Um,
I don't know what the system is like.
well,
Is this like
basically, each
am I
time.
committed?
So you can give me an answer now, and then through each other section, you can tell me whether you want to stick with your previous answer or change it. If you change it, we will then give you the points of your changed answer if that's correct. So you can just give me a year now.
So if I got the right so if I got the right year at the very beginning, then I got all my points.
Yeah,
Oh boy, this is a very convoluted game that we are definitely making up on the fly. By the way,
absolutely. I
just
mean, to be fair with
throwing
Terry,
it out
I just
there.
asked him if he could. I just take his final answer, and then if he got it right, he got it right. So
I want to say because arcades like kind of started dying in the 90s as console games caught up. That's the big, and
and I
that's the thing.
did.
That's the thing. Like, it can't be too far into the 90s because after a certain point, it's just kind of like people stopped caring about what was released in the arcades.
Mm,
The only thing is that, like, after I'm gonna arbitrarily for no reason pick the year 95, for example.
95.
Like, the only arcade games that anyone gave a shit about that came out after like that year were like things like Street Fighter and like Soul Calibur. Like the really big enduring arcade games that did eventually transition onto the console, but were mainly known for their arcade cabinets, you know.
Mhm.
Because like nobody gave a shit about what racing games Sega made in like 2001. You know, like no one cares. You know, even
Fair
House of
enough.
the Dead, which is like a pretty popular arcade game even into today, is like
Yeah.
no one cares when one comes out. You just like show up at arcade, it's like, oh, there's a new House of the Dead, cool, I'll try
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
always like that with
sometimes
Time
it's like,
Crisis.
ooh, pressing news. House of
Yeah.
the Dead, new release, coming to an arcade near you if it still exists.
Right. So that's to say that you're basically just
So
going for the arbitrary year of 95.
my yeah. So well, no, that was not my guess.
Okay.
My that was just sort of like the framing of my how I'm going to go about guessing because I'm thinking it's got to be within the first. I think it's got to be the 90s, but it's got to be the first half of that decade, somewhere
Okay.
between 90 and 95. No one cared about Sega before 91 because that was Sonic the Hedgehog,
Mhm.
but that might be the clue. Maybe if this was like the maybe maybe this is like the stepping stone to Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, it could be 90.
So, just to give you this afterwards, not to influence your guess, but I will be telling you the best-selling home systems that came out that were around in this year,
Yeah, that
which
could
will
be.
probably
Yeah,
provide you a
I'm
change of answer.
I'm
But
I'm definitely no. I the errant thought of it being a pre-Sonic game, Sega game was of that racing. Not that that image is that. I'm just what I mean. Like
hmm
in terms of that the highest grossing arcade game being a Sega game is like in my head. Like I don't think of that as like a clue. Like I feel like they're probably console
hmm
uses at this point. Um, all right, my first guess. Here I
Yep.
go. You ready
Here we
for
go.
this? My first guess for the year, and if I nail it, then I'm committed to all kinds of points.
hmm
1992.
92. Okay.
That's 1 year after Sonic. Still, you know, popular in the arcade world. You know,
hmm
but Sega's in the console game. Sonic is a thing. Sega's a household name. Whatever the fuck that is a game that people play.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay. So let's talk about game systems that were out during this year. Those included, of course. So this is the best-selling home systems: the Nintendo Entertainment System,
And NES. Oh shit.
NES, the Commodore 64, then the Master System, and then a little bit further down in consoles, TurboGrafx 16, also known as the PC Engine, and the Apple II.
Hmm. That is interesting. That is all a very interesting information, especially because I'm pretty sure the NES being the best selling game is console is um fucking impossible in 92. I'm pretty pretty sure no one was buying NESs in 92. I feel like changing my answer is going to be prudent at this point.
Mm.
um I should probably minimize chat in case Terry comes with any more errant guesses.
To be fair, that was
See
Steph
this,
that,
but this is
that
what
was
I was
Steph that
saying, right?
provided a guess.
Or whoever. This is what I mean, right? Like this is what I'm saying. Like a late 80s arcade game is indistinguishable from a fucking uh, an early 90s or mid or even up to mid 90s
Yeah.
home console game. So, oh man, yeah, because looking at that game makes me think 90s, and I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think this game is from the 90s at all. I'm in the wrong decade completely. This is definitely pre Sonic, 100%.
Okay.
Um, trying to think. So the NES was the best selling for that year,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it came out and the NES was like 83, 84 in Japan, and then like a couple years later in America,
Hmm.
something like that. Like I think 86 was the. I feel confident about the 86 being like the NES for NA. Um, but was that the year it sold best? You know, was it a breakout success or did it pick up speed?
Mm.
Also, is this like I question about how this is being rated?
Mm.
Like is it?
You're
I don't
looking
even
at
know if this
like
is too much
total
information,
sales.
but
You
like
want in?
I don't even know if this is like I don't know if I have access to this information as the player, but like, is this just like this only counts for years in which game consoles were released, or is this counting like you have like say console sales like by the year, regardless of when they were released?
So this is sales. This is sales for this year,
Okay,
according to
so
from what this looks like.
Nintendo was really unchallenged in terms of like home consoles
Mhm.
um during its initial run. I don't really think that like it had much competition once it took over. I mean, it's really the thing that dug, video games out of the whole you know, big crash that happened. See,
Mhm.
if you had mentioned that, I'd be like 83, get fucked.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah. If you
boom.
just wrote the video game crash,
Um,
I feel that would be
see,
too easy
that'd be
then.
easy. That would be
Yeah.
too easy. You're right. Um, 86 seems too easy. It seems too easy. Surely the NES was the best-selling console in more than one year than just the first year it was out. Surely.
Oh yeah, but that's why I've given you the leaderboard of them. So I gave you 4 out of the top 5 that was there. So the NES was
So what?
1.
So the NES being the best-selling console, along with a bunch of other
Yeah.
ancient shit.
So the Commodore 64 was in second, the Master System in third, and then I gave you the PC Engine at fifth.
Man, how long was the Commodore 64 relevant? How late did it go? Because if it's second place to the Nintendo, that's still got to be, you know, I don't think we're out of the 80s just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's try
Let's go for a guess.
second guess of 1988.
Okay, 1988. Fair
Okay,
enough.
let's see if that's done me something.
Yeah. So let's give you some. I guess the last part on this. So I'll give you sort of a list of notable games that were released in this year.
This will probably do it. I'm probably gonna end up changing my answer again and be like, "Oh, I got
So
1 point."
so one of the important bits is that in Japan, Zelda
Yeah.
2: The Adventure of Link was released, and wouldn't be released until 2 years later in America.
Huh.
But you also had
So
Castlevania.
we're talking. So we're
Was that
referring to the release date, as far as you're concerned, is the Japanese release date
is the
for this.
Japanese release? Yeah. But also in this year, Castlevania was released in North America. Kid Icarus.
This
Um,
could still be 88. I don't know when these were all came out, but this sounds right around that time. But keep going.
Metroid.
Ooh, Metroid. Oh, is Metroid 88? Oh, Metroid could have been like, ooh.
Mike Tyson's
Okay.
Punch Out came out in this year, in October of this year.
If Andrew were here, she would have killed it. If Andrew were here, she would know for sure what year that was.
Hmm. I reckon that may be a thing. Um, so
She's a big
a
Punch
lot
Out
of the
fan.
most notable releases were for the NES at this time. It was almost like this sort of this year was almost like a
And
golden
all of
age
these in
for.
Japan, all of these were released in Japan in this year.
Well, no, Zelda was in Japan, but the others that I'm listed, were American releases.
Oh, that's devious. That's evil what you've just done there. You've gone and alley-ooped me. Man, I don't know. I want to say 88. Like that feels about right for those games, but I don't know. That 88 might be too late for Metroid. I think my gut says Metroid was 87. My gut says it was 87. And that might be the Japanese release though. I don't know if they were different. I don't know if they released same year or not. There were no rules back then. Sometimes they were released, within the same
Mm.
year. Sometimes they were released like half a decade apart. There were no rules back then. You know,
Yeah.
sure as hell didn't have any simultaneous releases. That's for sure.
No.
Get, count on that.
No. We didn't get Metroid.
They hadn't invented planes yet. Everything had to
Yeah.
go by boat. So they just get lost at sea for 3 years, and then they eventually arrive on the mainland.
Yeah. Let's think of it this way. In particular for Metroid, we in sunny old Europe didn't get it until a year after this year. So that's fun.
I feel like I could be no more than 1 year off.
Mm-hmm.
Like 88 is possible. I don't think it is. I'm starting to come to the conclusion that it's probably not. But I
Okay.
don't think I'm any more than 1 year off. I think it's more likely that I'm a year too late than a year too early.
Okay. So let's
I
let's
feel
go for
like
your answer.
Metroid was 87. I feel like Metroid was 87. I'm gonna go with 87 as my final answer.
I'm gonna go with 87. Okay.
Yep.
So you went
I'm
with
gonna do it.
87, and Steph went with 86. One of you's right,
Yeah, I bet.
and it's you, Duncan. Yeah, it was 87.
Yes, I got you. I knew it. I mean, okay, 1 point is not like particularly special, but
Yeah,
hey,
in this
it's
in this
I
thing that
got
this
I got
week
it
I'm.
eventually.
Yeah, in this thing where I sort of made up the whole points aspect today. That's
It's what's how does the line go? Welcome to the Immaterial Gamers Podcast, where the points are made up and nothing matters,
oh, oh God, I want to
or
watch how
everything
I
is.
got.
Oh, sorry, everything is made up and the points don't matter. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull games from a hat. Um, but yeah, no, you had it. Yeah, so with that Legend of Zelda 2 Link whatever Electric Boogaloo didn't come out until 89 in America. So yeah, Japanese release was from there. So you were looking at like just sort of other stuff of when the Commodore was around. It was released in 82 and discontinued in 94. So it went 12 years. And it was number
Yeah,
2 and it was number
but
2 to the
I
the,
was
the
definitely
NES.
in the right idea of like. I mean, I nailed like right in the midpoint of its popularity of like,
Mhm.
it's still it's still popular, because it's still only a few years old, but
Yeah.
it's been beaten by the NES.
Yeah.
So like, I had the right idea there. I was off by 1 year. By
Mm.
1 year. Was there ever a point where I was considering 87? I don't think there was. I think it was pretty set on 88 as soon as got that second
Y-
round of clues.
you were there. It was Metroid and specifically Metroid that you went.
Yeah, Metroid was the one
Hang
that
on.
tipped me off.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I've never actually played a Metroid game, but
No, I think
I like I
I, I
like the Metroid franchise conceptually. I've just never played the damn games.
yeah I entered on Other M and that was the worst place to do it. So
Oh, you entered another M? Oh my god.
yeah,
I don't even play those games and I know that's bad.
yeah. So
I really want to play I really want to play Super Metroid one time. Because I mean people
yeah,
I
it
mean
should
that's
be
one of
easy.
the games, like one of the
Yeah,
ones that people go on about
yeah.
for
Given
days.
given given Metroid and Castlevania came out this year and that in 87 and that's what started the whole Metroidvania thing. That's just sort of how it is. All right. Well, with that bombshell, we should probably finish this. So,
Yeah, I really drew that one out for the content.
for the
Get a couple extra
content.
breaks in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for anyone that's come in and listened to this, or if you're listening to this now, appreciate it. Give us a follow, like, share, subscribe, review, all that business. And the podcast is available where your podcasts are served in audio form. It'll be on YouTube Thursday, Wednesday, or you're already watching it. So, haha. Right, we better get off. So, from me and Duncan, have a good night, and we'll
Ooh.
see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.